Black Tea. I'm your host, Miko.
And I'm Candace.
And today we are one person down from the brunch table.
Yes.
Melinda couldn't join us today, but that's okay because, she'll be back and we'll be able to have her, on the next episode at the next brunch table. But we have a wonderful show for you guys. I think you guys are going to really like the show today. I think the show, what do you think? I think the show today is going to be like really interesting.
I do. I agree.
And again, this is all our opinion on the topics that we're talking about. And today's topic is, I think it kind of like, it's like a big thing right now. It's a big thing right now. And we'll get into that in a minute. I don't want to like say anything yet until we go over brunch first. So keeping with a cool little theme. I kind of started the theme, but I didn't even know I was starting the theme.
Right.
But since it's been kind of cold, I've been
weather friendly food.
Yeah, weather friendly food. So so today we have some chicken noodle and vegetable soup.
Instead of soda on the side, we got juice.
Okay. You know what? Right, we got juice on the side, and soda on the side.
Okay.
But just a traditional chicken noodle and vegetable soup. The only difference is I didn't use egg noodle because egg noodle has the calories a little bit higher because of the egg yolk that's in it. So basically what I used was just the little short pasta salad noodles. So if you guys know the little short pasta salad noodles that you use those instead. We just cooked up some chicken breasts and added some chicken bouillon, to it, right? But what I do with my chicken breast, I don't like to boil. I don't like to boil my chicken breast. To me, it comes out kind of rubbery. It's like threaded. I don't really, that's not my thing. So I like to cook it first. So I just season up the chicken breast really good, coat it in some flour, and then put it in the pan, in a pot with a little bit of oil, and then cook it, and then from there I add the liquids to it. So I add so this is a pound and a half of chicken breast. I added 8 cups of water, and then I added a fourth a cup of chicken bouillon. And then I added a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of sage, and some oregano, which is good. And then you put a little bit of lemon juice in it. That lemon just gives it I put lemon juice in almost everything, especially soup-wise, because it complements all of the other flavors in there, the acidity from it.
Edge away.
Right. And then once you do that, you let that cook and get all, good and marinated together. You want to add your pasta, and then add your veggies. Add your veggies last because you don't want the veggies to get soggy. So the whole purpose of that is to keep the veggies nice with somewhat of a little bit of a crunch, Sometimes
it's what they call that, not ingredients in it, but it still keeps it, because
nutrients.
Nutrients. Because the people like to boil the mess out of everything.
Oh my gosh.
And by the time it's finished boiling and seasoning it's like
it's done. The nutrients is gone. It's just now you're just eating the vegetable for the flavor. You're not really eating it for the nutrients. For the look. Yeah. So and then we have some croissants here. But the good thing about the sweet things about these croissants is they're buttered with garlic butter. So remember that if you watched the last episode, we talked about that garlic butter that I got from the store. And it's pre-made, and you just put a little bit of butter on there, roll them up, pop them in the oven, and you're good to go. So a nice little, delicious, warm, soothing kind of wholesome meal that you can have.
And even if the weather wasn't really as cold, it's still good because it's light.
Right. So just think about having this sitting around the table at a nice little brunch, with some cocktails or something like that. Oh my God, it'd be really good with some margaritas. Yeah.
A little lemon drop or something.
A little lemon drop or something, So so that's what we're having today. And it's divine.
You have to say so yourself. I agree. It's very flavorful.
So you guys make sure before we get into everything, make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, and share the channel so everybody can get the opportunity to see what we offering and the delicious meals that we have and the awesome conversation that we're going to have going on. Every Sunday we bring you guys some, good topics that are talked about like all over.
Right.
It's not just
the kitchen table.
Yeah, and I think these topics that we do talk about are really good because so there's so many different opinions on them. It gives you the opportunity to really see everybody else's insight on certain things. And right now, I don't know if you guys are really into the whole craze thing, Black love craze thing, but our conversation today is going to be about Black love. And basically, looking up information about it and seeing other people talk about it, different opinions and everything, I want to know, I guess my question is for everybody is that really a thing? Is it a thing, and should we be making it a thing? Because is love love, or is black love something that we need to highlight because it's been, pretty much, pushed to the side and kind of like degraded for so long?
I think black love, I believe love is love, but black love is special.
Okay.
It's rarely seen, and especially in, you see black couples together, but a lot of times, it's that cheaper to keep mentality, and or cheaper to keep him,
Right.
And so people just be with each other because they've been with each other for years, and it's not, you don't really see that loving.
I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to turn off my cell phone.
It's all right,
but it's okay. We're gonna go ahead and cut that off. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. I also, reading up on. So I'm just gonna tell you. So the Black Love, they had this whole Netflix series about it, and a lot of different couples on there, and they highlighted. Of course, they use celebrity couples because that's what they wanted to show, because they do talk about how in the entertainment industry, black love is pretty much like obsolete, you know, because they always say that
once they make it,
once a black man make it, then they don't want the black woman. You know what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of women felt, whether they're celebrities or not celebrities. A lot of black women felt like, once a man has become successful within his life,
own right, whatever that may be.
Yeah, he chooses another race for his companion versus a black woman, you know. And it just says, basically the question was asked, is it important or necessary to promote segregated topics about love and family? It says, we highlight black love stories because seeing our love represented appropriately matters. After being categorized negatively for so many years, we want to show the positivity of black love and that we as a people can maintain and commit to real true love. I really do think that it is important to highlight, black love too, like you said before, because we are represented in a negative way. We have been for so long. So many people feel like, black men, a lot of black women rather felt like when a black man makes it, he forgets all about us. He decides to go to another race and date someone out of his race. And I think that's where the whole segregation of love started falling into place. Like, not only, also because of, the history we have, with, racism and everything, but just love in itself, just speaking on that in itself. I don't think it would have been that big of a deal if the black man wasn't constantly, pointed out for saying, oh, now that I'm here, I don't want a black woman. Or, at least that's how we felt. Not saying that that's what was being said or how the men felt, but that's
how our perception of it. And I think even even though I'm not a man, but I just can see that a man that, has money now and has the means to, be able to, go to places he thinks that he's he wants, it's like a trophy. He wants something that now he can afford. So he can afford this larger than life, concept that he didn't have before. So, and that's usually was someone outside of a black woman, whatever race that may be.
Right. And I think what that also, it started to label a lot of black women as being materialistic and gold diggers and things like that, when in all actuality the whole gold digging term literally came from other nationalities, like especially Caucasian women, white women, that whole term really came from them. Right. But because they felt like we were going after the money,
we don't deserve to have somebody
that we were gold diggers, so but we're gonna go ahead and finish up. We're gonna go ahead and finish this up real quick, and we're gonna get into that. So give us 1 second. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back now, and we finished our brunch.
Yes,
it was so good.
It was
so
really
delicious.
a nice treat.
Yes, and now we're gonna really dive into this conversation. I know we started talking about it a little bit while we still had our food here, but now that it's gone, we can really get comfortable and talk about the whole thing. Well, there's a few bullet points that I kind of wanted to bring up, and only because I saw it on the Black Love website. Okay. And I thought it was interesting that they brought these up. Excuse me. I thought it was interesting that they brought this, but it does make sense when you're thinking about it. Like the dating part of it, self love, which is important, And then love after divorce is also important as well too, because unfortunately nowadays a lot of couples are getting divorced. But you know what? The rating, there's not as many black couples getting divorced as it is, you know, other nationalities. Now that's not a fact. That's just a statistic that people have. You know, maybe somebody has taken a poll or something like that.
Yeah, probably because not many black people get married.
No, there are more black marriages. Yeah, according to the website, there's that poll. You know, whatever they took it in, there's more black people getting married. There's more black couples getting married now, and that's one of the reasons why they wanted to highlight, you know, black love, so they can show the positivity of it. They can show that yes, we are getting married, we are managing, we are making. There are some that are very long lasting. You know, because the other thing was that black people get married and they don't stay married long.
Yeah,
because
quick, you know, problems come up and they quickly, you know, wanted to turn to divorce.
Right, you know, and then they always want to say, oh, because the black man is cheating on. You know, you can't always put that on our black men, and I think that's probably another thing as well. What I think, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like a lot of times black men turn to other nationalities because black women are always accusing them of cheating and not doing certain things right, or so, whatever the case may be. That was something that was brought up. That was a topic that was brought up. If you go onto the blacklove.com website and just listen to some of the stories, you know, you would hear that. You would hear one of the
commonality within some of the issues that people have. I think it's because a lot of times, in my opinion, so we're talking about dating now. We want to just go in?
Well, we can go. Yeah, we can go into dating. We can go into dating. You know, black love within dating. You know.
Well, I think dating is a big deal, especially after you get, you know, to a certain age. I would say, you know, those years of 30 and over, you know, it's harder to date. You know, and we talking about black love. Each person that is of a black descent have to love themselves first. You know what I mean? You have to know who you are, what you want out of a relationship, and in order to, you know, to come together, you know, with a mate, you know, man or woman. And so if you're not loving yourself first, it's going to be hard to have a relationship with then you find that love. And that's why a lot of times we come with that baggage.
Right.
And you had spoke a little earlier about, you know, accusing them of cheating and stuff. You know, everyone comes with baggage, and then people comes with other people's perceptions. You know what I mean? And we are influenced by, you know, the media, you know, friends and families, you know, your parents. You're influenced by all those entities, and so when you try to get to relationships, you have all that in your ear and in your mindset, and so you have to sometimes shut out the chaos and then focus on what you want and set that aside.
You do, and you also have to, you know, go into a relationship with the same expectations that you feel like you're going to give. You know, don't expect something more out of a person than you're willing to give yourself.
Absolutely.
Now, granted, a lot of times, you know, men will step up and they will give a little bit more just because they, you know, are, you know, the man in the relationship, and that's not something that, you know.
That used to be the case.
That
used to be the case. I think a lot of times in this the day and time that we are in now, in 2020, things have changed where the women are, you know, the breadwinners and stuff. So it's like the women are feeling themselves, you know, giving and providing more than a man, and so then that too is like I feel like a lot of times as black people right now, we're not equally yoked.
We're not, but I was more so speaking on the fact that men want to be the man of the relationship. They want to be the head of the relationship, just like, you know, a married couple of men want to be the head of the household, right? You know, so okay, if it doesn't,
do you feel like that's what a lot of people are still feel like they want to be?
I think that's what they want to be. I'm not necessarily saying that's what's happening, but I feel like that's what because when you listen to, especially with women, a lot of women want their man to step up and be that one. You know, I'm not saying that it necessarily is happening, but a lot of people want that. And just listening to a lot of different couples. When I listen to all these couples here, and then I actually watched the Netflix show about it as well. And then I kind of went off into a little. They had like, you know, you got links that takes you into other things and other people's comments and, you know, things like that. I think, you know, listening to all the different perspectives on what the expectations are. Of course, naturally, everything is different for everybody. Right. But overall, I think people still want that, you know, that's the security of that man. The women do. Right. You know, and all that good stuff like that. So I kind of think that's wanted, but it's not something that's being delivered, only because nowadays, to me, women are a little bit more independent with things. Yeah. So it makes it harder for her to like let go of that independence and let a man actually, you know, take over, as they would say. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm married, and my husband doesn't control everything. Like if you if you honestly think about it, if anything goes down in my household, he'll go ask my wife. That'll be his response. Well, you gotta ask her. You gotta talk to her. Not because he doesn't have the head of the household kind of you know of the position, but women tend to kind of like jump in and take charge and take care of things, you know, things, you know, and your husband or your boyfriend or man or mate or whatever will just follow along. And when you put it in place, it works. It's gonna work. You're gonna be like, well, let's go. You know, let's do it. And that's okay, because then that's making it a little bit more balanced than putting everything on the man. Yeah. But there is some relationships, yeah, you're right, where the women, you know, have that more control.
And so here's my thing. Even if that is the case, that we're like, you know, she's making more, whatever. And that's a way that I think that a lot of black men, I think that this is where they start to go into other races. That they be like, not only are we independent and we, you know, we bring in home the money, but it's the way that we doing it. Yeah. And it's like we are, as women, sometimes become a little too.
I can do this.
Too like proud,
too
prideful. You know what I mean? And like in the ways that we're maybe not so much in public, but maybe in one of the closed doors, that they're putting that. You know, it makes a man feel belittled. You know what I mean?
It does. But you know what I think? In my opinion, I think that comes from the fact that, you know, for so long, you know, men were trying to take advantage of women and their like submissiveness in relationships and vulnerability and things like that. They was taking it for granted, and women were being mistreated. Yeah. So it got to the point to where where it's the point where you're like, I have a little bit more, I can do a little bit more, I'm more stable. Let me help this man get to his next, because we always like to see the potential of men. Yeah. You know what I mean? Instead of seeing them red flags and letting them be what they are. Yeah. And then you know, knowing how to maneuver between that, because the red flag is there just like, hey, it's just an eyebrow raise. That's what, you know, you take it as. When you start having too many of them, it's like, okay, this person might not be for me. But a lot of times we stay in it because we think we are fixers. We can make him, we can, you know what I mean, build him up, and we can have it, whether once you build him up, he going to somebody else. That's true.
You know, so
you build him up for somebody else. But and that's that whole dating life. That's where, you know, people feel like I wasted my time.
Yeah, you wasted your 20s, my 30s, your 40s.
You know, I say like this. I don't necessarily feel like it's a waste of time. Basically, I think in any situation that you get yourself in, whether it be relationships, with a person, a job, or anything, it's a situation to teach you something. It might teach you a little bit about yourself. It might teach you about your likes and your dislikes, or whatever the case may be. But if you don't learn something from the situation that you're in, then it was a waste of time. But it was that person didn't waste your time. You wasted your own time. No, and you could have figured it out and got out of it.
Right, and that's the thing, though. I think that it becomes a waste of time, and once you realize that the relationship didn't work out, a lot of times it's not even by your own admission. The person has now ended the relationship. So as to where you probably would have been in it for years and years, even more so, but unhappily, then you have allowed yourself to waste
maybe
time.
There's a lack of communication then, because if you're talking to somebody on a regular basis, constantly talking to them, asking questions, trying to figure out if you know, likes and dislikes, and throwing different things out there, and you start to see that it's not matching up, then what do you stand for? Even if the other person ends it, you probably wanted to end it, but you didn't end it. But for what reason did you not want to end it?
Scared to be alone. People are scared to be alone.
And that's it, because you don't want to be by yourself. Right. I would rather be by myself than be with somebody who I can't communicate with and learn. Right.
But that's hindsight 2020.
It is.
Like, you know what I mean? It becomes a point where, you know, you live and learn. Like you said, some things you learn after the fact, but then are you going to go to another relationship like that? So like you said, even though those years you might have said, hey, some of it was wasted, some of it was a learning lesson, you learn a lot from it, not to waste that much more time the next relationship.
Right. So. Okay, so how do you avoid that with dating? I know that's a kind of like a crazy question, because you might say, I don't know how to avoid it.
Well, you have to find somebody, meet somebody, and that's why it's called dating. And you know, you get to know somebody, and you find out if you're on the same page with that person, and you start to get to know them, and they get to know you.
How long does that take?
But you have you have to set you have to set up a time and say, hey, if I'm willing to, I want something more of a relationship, because some people just want to date and casually date to have sex, to have a partner, not go out to dinner with, go to the events with, but they don't necessarily want to have that next level. They don't want to have a family. They don't want to be married. They don't want to live with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you want all those things and you lay them on the table, sometimes we don't let a person know what we want up front, and then we find out later they never did wanted the same thing we wanted in the first place.
Right.
And so that becomes a part of communication. That's why I say ask those hard questions up front.
You have to.
You're not gonna say, "Hey, I want to have a baby right now," and you just met them, the first date. But it's someone. It should become up sooner than later. That's what I'm saying.
It should. And the other thing too, I think the reason why a lot of these dating with the black love and the dating and moved on to other races and things like that is because when you sit down and you ask a person, especially black women, oh, I want to get married, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then later on, it's about that time, and now the other person's like, oh, well, I still don't want to do it. Why is everything on your time? You told me to give you time. I gave you time. I gave you 5 years. Mm-hmm. So now you're still not ready, but I am. When does it become my time for things that? Where's my compromise?
Right. And then that's where you have to search and say, okay, I gave you 5 years of my life. I'm not willing to give you another minute. And that's a hard soul searching you have to do, because it is hard. Just because the time come into play doesn't mean your love stops with a person.
That's true.
And then sometimes we have to decipher what that love feels and looks like to us, as opposed to just being in a relationship.
Okay, so maybe then that comes to our next, bullet point, self-love. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really don't love yourself, then you're gonna let that person dictate exactly how this relationship is gonna work. Mm-hmm. They're gonna string you along. They're gonna feed you the information that you want. They're gonna feed you the feelings that they want. Take you out here and there, do things, but then still don't give you everything that you necessarily desire.
Right, and I mean it's a compromise. Like you might not get everything you're actually looking for in this person, but you gotta think about weigh the pros and cons. Is it do I want I don't know, to be married so bad to where I just, not happy with our living arrangements now, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe if I give him 1 more year, but if it becomes to the point where you are and you say, okay, I can't give him another year and I'm ready to walk out, and it doesn't minimize any of the feelings you feel for this person, but if they take you serious and they really want to make you happy, then they'll do it.
They will.
Then what is their hold up? If it's not about, how they a lot of men say, it's about the man being prepared and he wants to have his money together. He want to make sure he can provide and take care of you. You know what I mean?
But long time ago, this older gentleman, I was talking to me about that situation and basically saying that you really are not going to ever be prepared.
No.
Because rather you have all this money or not, you can still have a lot of money and it'd be another situation that causes you not to do it because you're not prepared.
Right.
It's not just, don't let your finances be the reason why you don't take the next step in your relationship, because your finances might not come around for the next 10 years. Then what? Next 10 years you just going to be chasing it?
But that's a personal decision.
It is a personal decision. But to me, I feel like, and again, this is just my opinion.
Yeah,
to me, I feel like if I'm gonna get into this with you right now, we both don't have nothing, and we grow and we both get something, then I think it'll be a little bit stronger.
I would think that.
I would think that. Right. That's just my opinion. I would think that it'd be a little bit stronger versus I'm jumping in this with all this, and you coming in this, mediocre. So on either side, man or female, and now we have all these issues and stuff. That's why a lot of these people, I think, when these people get married in this industry, these entertainers marry a lot of people that are not entertainers, and then they end up in divorce 2 years, 2-3 years later, and then the person is end up suing them and getting all this alimony and all this stuff like that. To me, sometimes I feel like that's premeditated. I feel like that's just me. I feel like it's premeditated sometimes. I feel bad for example, for Mary J. Blige. Love Mary, that is my girl, and she for so long wanted to find love. I mean, that was her big thing. If you guys look at some of her interviews and listen to some of the things that she talks about,
that's most women.
But I'm just saying, I'm just speaking on her because of the relationship that she ended up having. This, you get with this man, and he did what he did to get you there, and then after the fact, he leaves you, and now he want to take you through the ringer and get all this money because he knew He knew what you wanted. He premeditated it. He was your manager. He was her manager. Right. So he knew what you wanted. He knew what you've been through. He knew if I offer her this, what more can I get out? He knew exactly what to do.
So you don't think at no point he really loved her?
I think he loved her. I don't necessarily think he was in love with her. I don't necessarily think he was in love with her.
Yeah.
I just think that he loved her as a person because they have a relationship outside of a private one. They had their business relationship. So he had love for her, but I don't necessarily think he was in love with her to the point to where he was going to be able to be with her. You know,
or it could be a situation too where you're just like, okay, I'm a man and I have means and I wanted to cheat because he cheated and it had nothing to do with the woman. And that was her, what do you call that? Her final straw. That was her deal breaker. That was her deal breaker. And she was like, "Oh, you cheated on me." You know, same thing like Wendy Williams and her husband. You know, what I mean, he was her manager too, and they kind of, came up together. But
see, that's the difference though. Wendy Williams and her husband grew together. Mm-hmm. They didn't grow together.
Right. But what I'm saying is that is it about? I don't necessarily think that these men are necessarily seeking out them. I just think they thought that they could just do whatever they wanted to do. And the consequences behind it. And because now, you're not going to... The same thing with a woman. If the woman has the means, what I mean? She going to go after that man and take everything he got. So I'm not saying it's right
on either side. Yeah, I don't think it's right on either side.
Because he the one who did wrong and he wouldn't take her money.
Right.
Usually it's the other way around when if the person who's been wrong is taking the other person's money because they the one who did them wrong, but he the one who did wrong, and he sits there and take her money. Like, what are you doing here?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think that plays a big part in it too. That whole thing with black men and black women. For so long, they felt like we would take them through the ringer. Mm-hmm. All we're doing is getting into the relationship for the money, and all we want is, we're gold diggers. But all these other women, especially white women out here marrying these black men,
for their money,
divorcing them, and then they getting all the money, having cheerings.
Yeah. They're securing the bag. What they call securing the bag.
They're having these children. They get into it, and then they divorce them, and then they take the money too. It's the same situation.
Right.
So
white or black.
Black. But the black love thing, I think it is good to represent it. Just I guess to let a lot of these black men, know that
and long lasting.
Long-lasting.
You see the people who have been on that Black Love show. 10, 15, 20 years that we don't even know that they were married to a black woman, you know what I mean? Or a black man.
Right.
They have been. And they show their ups and downs. And I think that's the healthy part, because a lot of times these days we look at just the physicalities of a person. So they look cute together. Oh, as a beautiful couple. But it's like enduring those tough times and bad, and a lot of times they had infidelity in their relationships, and that's couples and a personal decision whether you stay with it or not. But what I'm saying is that they show that they had gone through the ringer and gone through some stuff, and marriage is not all about the fairy tale of which the Hollywood thing of it. It's about two people who endure and go through the test of times, and they show it more than it looked like our grandparents type of love.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we were saying earlier, it looked like they were staying together because it was cheaper to keep her. You know what I mean?
Shoot, nowadays it's even more so cheaper to keep him.
Okay.
But and that's a whole nother subject. Cheaper to keep him, honey. That's a whole nother subject. But it's like marriage is tough. Marriage is tough. It's you got to work at it. Mm-hmm. It's not, you're not gonna have every single day is not gonna be peaches and cream.
Right.
But if every day is sour, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way they looked at black love. It's just that it just being sour or just being a business arrangement in some ways. And it's not like that. And, if you love yourself, if you have enough love for yourself to know what you're willing to deal with, what you're not willing to deal with, then you can make it work, because you can communicate that with this person.
Right.
Communication is huge.
Absolutely.
Communication is like the biggest thing. It's the only thing that's going to help build trust.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To me, I think it's the one, the thing that's going to help build trust. You can tell me you love me 5 times a day. Mm-hmm. But if our communication is off in other areas, then that love really, I'm like, okay, thank you, love you too, goodbye.
Yeah, it's just words.
It's like I walk down the street and tell 5 people I love them.
Right.
It's just words.
Yeah.
You have to communicate. And that's what they were saying, in these testimonies. You have to communicate. You have to be honest. You have to be open. You have to be willing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you might not like something, might not really care for something, but if your partner is really interested in something, you might want to give a little bit.
Yeah.
You might want to
Compromise.
Compromise. It's not
both
like
women and women.
Right, as long as it's not illegal or go kill you, then try it. Try something new, because everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you're in a relationship together, you guys find out that you match, you know, with certain things in your personality. Not everything about you is a match.
Right.
There's things going to be about you that your partner might not like, or things about your partner that you might not like, but you got to try some new things in order for it to work. In order to say, okay, I want to make sure my marriage lasts and my marriage is happy.
Right.
Don't be, I'm out of here because he didn't want to do X, Y, Z.
Right.
Come on now. Be fair about the situation, you know.
And one of the couples that I see that, especially I guess in the generation that's coming up now, is like that Remy Ma and Papoose. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they started because, you know, she had went to jail for a number of years, and he stayed by her side, got out, married her, and then he has this whole black love thing, and that's what a lot of those industry people in that industry kind of look up to them about, and it was like, you know, it's a beautiful thing to see them, and he's like, you know, and one of the things that he asked her for was a child, and I don't think she necessarily wanted to give it to him or wasn't necessarily ready, because she wanted to put her career first, but she compromised with him because, you know, that's her husband was down for her for that long and did what he did for her. She had to give him what he wanted.
Well, she was having complications too, and that's one of the reasons why she couldn't do it.
Well, that's not when she did, before she had a complication. Before the first time she wasn't, you know what I mean? But he was like, hey, you know, what are you going to give me what I asked for? You know what I mean? You asked for it to be X, Y, and Z. You know?
That's where the compromise
and that's what comes in that. You know what I mean? And they show some, you know, they're on a reality TV show, of course, and they show some real, you know, hard times that they going through, you know what I mean, or went through. So I think that's to be commended too, and that's what a lot of people need to see, that it's not just all glitz and glamour.
It's not all glitz and glamour, but you gotta know your position. Everybody has a position in their relationship. Know your position, you know, and know how to execute it. That way it benefits everybody.
Right.
And be able to talk about it.
And respect.
Yeah. Yes, respect each other. And that's another thing, you know, respect each other. I don't necessarily say that the relationships between, you know, biracial couples don't show a lot of respect. But sadly speaking, I have to say that some of the black men that I have come across that have dated white girls are like, oh, I'm there because she gonna do what I tell her to do. If I tell her to shut up, she gonna shut up. You know, that's not necessarily true to all the white girls out there.
All shut their mouth.
But they had that perception
right.
That's how it goes down. Black women's mouth is too much, and a white woman gonna shut. No, that's not how it is. Disrespect is disrespect, regardless to what race you are. Right. And women don't want to be disrespected at all. Right. You know, and I raised a black man, and I raised him to respect women on all, you know, all avenues, all spectrums, you know. But I also raised him to demand respect for himself. I used to always tell him, you're not supposed to hit girls. You're not supposed to treat girls bad. But you don't allow them to do that to you either. Right. You don't allow them to do that to you either. So we as black women, we're expecting all these things from this man, but we want to get all crazy when we don't. Just know he got feelings too. Right. So if he walking away from you to go to someone else, you're putting that in his head that I can't deal with these crazy black women. Right. You know, so he moving on. Right. I'm not saying that's what it all is, but I'm just saying a lot of times that could be the case. It could possibly be the case. Right. Not everybody want to deal with that drama. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just like a lot of, you know, not a lot, but I've heard some black women say, I don't want to deal with these black men because they're cheaters. They think black men are cheaters. So they go deal with men of other races. Black women are doing it too. They deal with men of other races because they feel like not all black men are cheaters. You know, you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the other person, and you have to be able to, you know.
Well, we gotta stop grouping every.
That's what I'm saying. I was about to say you gotta stop. You have to stop grouping. You know, categorizing and putting everybody in this little box. You can't do that, because just like you feel like white people or another race will be a little bit more to you, that's not necessarily true either. So you boxing them into this perfect little box, but boxing black men into this troubled box, but that might not be the case.
Right. You might open up in that new box you didn't went into and find trouble again.
I'm trying to tell you. You know, so, you know, the other thing it was talking about is marriage and partnerships is the balance, you know, family, finances. We kind of talked about finances, you know, obstacles and challenges. you know, the balance, you know, pretty much what we talked about us as well. Compromise and communication. You know, that's pretty much how you. That's the balance.
Yeah.
That's how you're gonna have a balance, because that's the only way you're gonna know what the other person is thinking or going through, so you guys can know how to get through whatever's going on. Because if you don't, you know, if one person know that the bill is due on Saturday and the other person don't know that the bill is due on Saturday, and something happened and nobody, and then the bill, you know, don't get paid, then how can you get mad at the other person for not? You gotta communicate. It's all, you know, and compromise just, you know, just basically comes into it's just like on your wedding day. You know, he might want green, you might want purple, but the compromise is going to be that we pick something that we both like together. You know, so from the day, from that point, from there on, that's your start. That's your start. Your relationship when you're dating definitely is your start. But that's, I'm gonna learn who you are. You gonna learn who I'm. But we're gonna grow. But we can walk away from this at any time. Right. You know, I can turn and walk away if I want to. But once you guys get married, it's now time for you to understand that the compromise is going to be right. The compromise of communication is going to be what keeps you together. It's going to be what keeps you together. You're going to fight like you did when you were dating, but you're also going to love like you did when you were dating. You're going to love even more because now you guys are communicating even more. Better. And communicating better. Yeah. You know, family. Hopefully. You know, and you know, family wise, you know, you should know by the time you get into your marriage if you wanted a family or not with this person. Yeah. Don't say I do, and then when you say I do,
or think you can change the other person's mind.
And don't think you can change the other person. Exactly. You cannot change. The goal is not to change the person. You get with this person. If you like this person for who they are, let them be. If you want to change them, then that's not the person you need to be with. You need to go find the person that you are trying to change this person into being. Let that person be who they're going to be. You know,
right? So what about when the times where, like, hey, you're together and you're married, and then it becomes that person, either you or that person outgrow each other.
That happens.
And it happens. And when I say outgrow is not doesn't mean like I'm growing away from you, but you have grown into a different person, and that person is still the same, and you've grown, and at some point you want them to come back and meet, and then sometimes I think it happens at different levels.
It does.
It happens even before when you're dating.
It does. It's up to that other person to reckon. It's up to you to voice your new likes and new self. And if that other, and it's up to that other person to be willing to want to, you know, make some changes to be a part of whoever you become, or accept you for who you are. You know, and if you can't, then that's where the divorce comes in at, unfortunately. But you should be able to, because people change all the time.
And I mean, you want to change and grow for the better.
You do. I don't want to stay the same all the time. I want to have new likes and new adventures and new experiences. Yeah. So that's a part of growth. So why wouldn't I want to change and grow with, you know, the person? Right. Oh, you like this now? Well, maybe I can try. All right, you like that now? Okay, well, you go ahead. I'm gonna try something else. Right. I'm not gonna, you know, don't want to be with you now or stop because you've gotten a new love or new growth or you know.
But you as a person who's not growing with them might not want to be with them, but that person who is growing and you're still second might not want to be with you.
Well, then that's where you guys need to talk about and say, let's hear. This is we can't go no further.
Right. Or what is it? Let's sit down and see what we can start to do as a new.
As a new. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the first step, and hopefully that will be the step that, you know, but. Don't outgrow your mate and seek outside.
Right. No, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm saying some people do that.
Oh, yeah.
They outgrow them, or not so much outgrow them, but like they change.
Right.
They change a little bit and want something different and want to try new things and everything, but then they go outside of the marriage to fulfill that. No, start within the marriage.
It's not fair.
Now it's the person. Now if your spouse is not giving you the you know, not willing to work, then okay, then you figure out what you want to do. Right. But don't go outside of your marriage and start trying to figure new things out. That's just not cool. That's not cool.
It's a setup for disaster.
It definitely is a setup for disaster. And if you can, and if something that easily can cause you to really want to like stray, then honey, you wasn't meant for that to be in it. Right. In my opinion.
Right. I agree.
In my opinion. I keep saying in my opinion because I want you to know this is just all my opinion. Right. You know, so it's fine. You know, finances is also, you know, something that a lot of couples, you know,
battle with. Yeah.
Honey, a dollar will make or break you, baby. Okay. A dollar will make or break you, you know. But I mean, again, I guess that goes back to saying don't put any expectations on your spouse that you wouldn't have on yourself. Yeah. As long as you can equally say, if I'm gonna put up $5, you gonna put up $5. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's equality. That's 50. You want 50% of this to run 50% of this household, then I need 50% of everything that's coming through here. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, there are going to be things and times where one person is going to take, more on than the other, and that's just something that's going to happen but naturally.
You can't foresee it happening. Those unexpected situations.
Right, and that's something that happens naturally because there's things that my husband takes charge more of than I do, and there's things that I take charge of more than he does. Mm-hmm. That's not something we sat down and said, okay, so now you gonna do this, and you go. No, it's just something that.
But if you have done that, if you have done that, do you think like that would be better? Like, I mean, yeah, because everybody has a different way of how they.
It probably will, but I think the reason why ours it fell the way it did is because I brought something into the, into the household or whatever the case. Right. I'm starting up something new, so okay, I'm gonna take care of it. Okay. He started up something new, so he's gonna take care of it. Okay. Now, if it's something that we sat down together and said we both wanted, then naturally, we're gonna discuss how this, financially gonna be taken care of. Okay. But I'm not gonna say, well, you know what? I want a new refrigerator. I'm gonna finance it, and I need you to pay half of it because you use it too. Mm-hmm. Well. No, we didn't talk about it first. Right, we didn't talk about that first. I just went and did it on my own. Right. So that's for me to decide on how it's going to be taken care of. Now, we would have sat down and came to a conclusion together. Then we're both responsible. Right. It's big. Taking ownership in a relationship, just like taking ownership at work. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. You want to make sure you own your actions.
Yeah, bottom line.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Own your actions. So. I don't know. I mean, I think it is a good topic. I think it is something that we do need to highlight.
Healthy black love.
Healthy black love. But we can celebrate all love. It's important. It's important when it comes to recognizing, who you are, what you want, and how you want things to be in a relationship. It's important that you keep yourself open-minded for anything that can come up and can occur. Don't go into a relationship expecting a whole lot more than what you're willing to give, like we talked about before. And with that being said, I'm going to definitely continue to highlight black love. I think it's awesome.
It's powerful.
Again, I'm going to, of course, acknowledge and accept all love and celebrate all love, but I'm definitely going to highlight black love because I think it's important. And I'm a black woman.
Yes.
And
first and foremost,
my children are black. I have a black son that I know is going to be a great husband and father, one day. So I definitely want to highlight that. And I just thought this was a good topic. And if you guys like the topic, I
was going to say, and it's Black History
Month. And it's Black History Month. If you guys like the topic, definitely go ahead and leave us a comment. If you have something you want to say, if you want to add something to it, let's get a conversation going about it. Let's get a, kind of like a dialogue, a blog going about it. And let's talk about it. Let's keep it going. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Definitely check us out at events_at_black tea, and blackteacomplete.com is the website. If you have any questions or anything else that you want to possibly ask us or leave us, you can also get any of the recipe information from us by leaving a comment or checking out send us a message on either one of those social media outlets. And it was great. We missed Lynn today,
I know.
But
she'll be back soon.
She'll be back on the next show. So until next time, you guys, thank you so much for joining us at the brunch table. Let's connect, let's network. Bye.